Welcome back to CMG Forex First Lesson. I'm Emmanuel, and I'll be your teacher for this episode. In fact, this series, I'll be your teacher. So we are on Forex for beginners. So if you are new to the profession or to the field, this is the best video, the playlist for you. We have treated a number of the episodes, and then we are gradually getting to the interesting parts of this series. This is episode 5. Yeah, 5. And then we are looking at currency pairs, right? So we are going to look at the major currencies and then the minor ones, and then look at the currency pairs, the major ones, and then the minor, and then the crossed ones. So we won't waste much time here. We are going to zoom in. So, like I said earlier, in this profession called Forex, what we actually trade is currencies, right? We trade currencies. We don't trade any other thing here. So for digital assets, when it comes to Forex, we trade currencies. Trading one currency against another, right? When one is strong, you can benefit from that. And then when the other is weak, you can actually benefit from that. We also look at the benefit of what? Forex. So if you have not watched that, go back to the beginning of the series and then watch that. So now, like we said, we trade based on some factors, right? And then we look at the time that you can actually trade, right? The time, we look at the time sessions, the trading sessions, the recent video, which is a video episode 4, right? So we look at trading sessions, and then we look at what it comes with, the volatility and then the liquidity, right? So there are times that you can actually trade and then be profitable. In the same way, if we are going to trade currencies, right, or monies from different countries, we have to look at what actually is profitable. Which of the currencies or the currency pairs are very what profitable? Because our main focus or target in this profession is to make money. In fact, there's no two ways about this, right? We are here to make money. So why don't you look at the profitable time, the time that is convenient, lucrative. That is what we look at, right? So that is what we are going to look at. So that is it. So we are going to look at the currencies that are mostly traded, right? That is our main focus of this episode. So if you talk of major currencies, we have major currencies, right? I am not talking about major currency pairs. I am talking about major currencies. So what it means that a currency pair is a major one. It means that either of these currencies will be found in that pair, right? So either of the currencies we have, which are the USD, we have the Euro, we have the Aussie, right? So we have Canada, we have New Zealand, and then we have in fact, we have a number of them, right? So these ones are the major currencies that you can actually trade, right? So if you see any of these currency pairs, the 8 of them, then that major currency pair, that currency pair is actually a major one, right? So I think we have the New Zealand, and we have the card, right? That's the Canadian dollar. We have the Australian dollar, and then we have which one? We have the pounds, right? We have the pounds, and that's right. So I think there are about 8 or 7 of them, right? So it means that if any currency pair that you see this forming part of it, it means that that currency is what a major one of that sort. So I think you have a look at them well, and then you see the way forward. So now let's just zoom it. Or better still, you can even check online. Just Google it. Or in fact, in YouTube, like this one, just search for the currency pairs and then you can find other videos which will actually expatiate on that. So let's do it that way. If you are only dedicated to learn, you cannot depend on one source, right? It doesn't mean I'm only focused that you should only watch this video, but you can watch other platform and then well uh, get savvy, right? So that is the main point. You can just check it out. The major currency pairs. So so a minute. So like I said, the major currencies are the USC, the USC dollar. That's in the USC dollar, and then we have the euro, the euro, or the eurozone. And uh, we have the Japanese yen, right? We have the Japanese yen, and then we have the British pound, right? The pound sterling, the British pound, and then we have the Swiss franc, right? The Swiss franc. That one, we have that one. And then that's the symbol is CHF, right? That's for the Swiss franc. That is it. So the Australian, the Japanese yen, the USA dollar, the Swiss franc, and then, right? So we have the Canadian dollar too, right? So these are the what? The major currencies, right? So it means that if you see any pair with these symbols or these currencies in that pair, then it means that that currency is what? A major, a major currency, right? It's as simple as that. So that this is a fair idea that I can give you, right? I think we have a look at them in proper way. So here now, if you are new to the forex market, and then have just started trading forex online, you may find yourself overwhelmed and confused both at times by the huge number of available currency pairs inside your terminal. For instance, I method to the 4 or 5, whatever, or even trading view. You can look at if you have account with the trading view, you can just check it out and then type into it. For instance, the pounds USD, right? Pounds USD, you can do that, and then you see them. There are a number of them, right? So with this one that I've said, you can just look them up and then see whatever I'm talking about. So what are the best currencies to trade, right? The answers are not that straightforward, as it varies with each trader and each terminal with the exchange whatever, the OTC. Now, instead, you need to take the time to analyze different pairs of currencies, right, against your own strategy to determine the best forex pairs to trade on your account, right? So, okay, trading in forex market occurs between two currencies, right? The currency between two currencies because one currency is being bought, right, as in the buy, a bid, whatever, and then another sold, the sell, and at different what time. We'll talk about this in depth. There's an international code that specifies the setup of currency pairs you can trade. For instance, a quote of Euro USD, right? The Euro USD, that's the Eurozone currency against the US dollar, right? At 1.2 means that 1 euro, right? It means that you look at this in India, don't worry. This is a brief uh, intro, right? So it means that 1 euro is worth 1.25 what dollars. So here the base currency is the euro, right? The base currency is the euro, and then the counter currency is called what? The the US dollar, right? So that is so any pair, when you take, like I said, like for instance, this one, if you take this pair, the first currency or the first symbol is the it, wait, is a code currency, right? And then is the base currency, sorry, the base currency. And then the other one on the right is what? Is the counter currency or whatever you can even call it what? The code. So that is how pairs are what I mean, right? So when you take a pair, the first one is the base currency, and then the other is whatever. Now, when these two comes together, it means that whatever price or the rate that is being quoted, it means that the first one is what? Is one. It's like 1 is to whatever that is coming, right? So 1 is to 1.25, right? So that is the meaning. So it means that you need 1 euro what? Euro zone to actually what? Buy 1.5 of what? US dollar. So it's as simple as that, right? This is a brief introduction. We will talk about it more. So that is it. Right? So the important thing that you know here is the base and then the base currency and then the quote one. And then, for instance, when there's a price or a rate quoted, it means that the first one is actually one. And then the number or the price or whatever is quoted after, it goes for what? The what? The second currency. So that is the one is that. So you need 1 euro to buy 1 point what? 1.25 of the US dollar. That is it. That's the meaning. Now, instead, you need to take the time to analyze different pairs of currencies against your own strategy to determine the best forex pairs to trade in your account. So, what it means is that now with the major currencies that we are going to talk about, in fact, in this forex market, what is actually traded are the major currencies, right? So the major currencies means that the currencies that are mostly traded. And if every currency that is mostly traded, it means that that currency is what? Volatile, right? That's our main focus on this profession. We are looking at what? The niche. We are looking at the profitable zone. We are looking at what is going to give us money, volumes of money. That is where we are going to focus. If you look at them and then it's not helping, you just have to skip them. So like you said, like we have about 8 of the what major currencies. Now, it doesn't mean you are going to trade, even though they are the major currencies that we are talking. We have a number like thousands, hundreds of what? Thousands of currency pairs that are traded, right? But there are 8 of them that are major, that are major, right? Now, even within or even with these 8 major currencies, you are not, and I'm going to repeat, you are not going to trade all of them. You can't even trade all of them. That's the truth of the matter. You can't trade all the 8 of them, right? So as an amateur, you introduce you to the 8 of them. Then with your paper trading and demo trading, you try to find a niche. Which of the pairs is actually what? Going to what? Be profitable to you. I, for instance, right? Among all these eight pairs, I started as an amateur when I started. I traded all the 8. I put all of them on my watch list. Right? I'll teach you, I'll tell you what is a watch list. So on this watch list, I was actually doing the paper trading and all that. Sometimes I even traded some real money, right? So until out of the 8, now I only trade what? 2 of them. For the currencies, I only trade 2 of them. That's what the pounds USD and the euro USD, right? So that is it. So the euro USD, we call it the fiber, and then the pounds, we call it the cable, right? They are nicknames for them, right? All the pairs have nicknames. In fact, most of them have nicknames, right? So that is it. So out of these 8, I am only trading what? 2 of them. I know some traders trade only 1 pair. Now that's also another level or another trick, another thing that your mentor will have to teach you. You can't trade everything, right? So I trade only 2 of them, and then I have this commodity that I trade, which is the gold, right? So now recently I just added the US oil onto my watch list. But I'm not trading it at the moment. I am studying it for some time. You understand? I've put it on my watch list, and I'm studying it for some time before I actually do it. So that is what we do. You don't rush into doing things. You have to study them for some time, and then when you think you are very convinced, then you can continue. That is what we do in this profession. You don't rush. You don't take any decisions here. So that's what. So with the age, I want to study, trade all of them until we think this one is best for you. Now, what is good for me may not be good for you. Even I being your mentor or your tutor, I can only even decide, right, which of the pairs that you should trade. But I can only help you decide when, with your history, I look at the pairs. We have a way of analyzing this your history. So from there, I can actually say that, okay, now I think this is the best pair for you. Maybe you can start with looking at them closely and then trade it. So that is what we do here. So that is it. Now, the trade in forex, in fact, trade in forex occurs between two currencies, right? You can't trade one currency. You trade against one another, even though there are some exceptions, right? I think you can trade USD alone. Yes, but for you as an amateur or a tyrant, this is what I'm telling you. You don't trade what currency alone. You trade them against another, right? Like when you go to the forex bureau, you exchange one currency with another. So you are trading the two. So that is what it means. Now, um, there is an international code that specifies the setup of currency pairs you can trade. For example, a quote like the Euro USD at 1.25 means that 1 euro is worth 1.25, whatever. So you know. Now, let's look at the commonly used currency pair. In this session, we learn about a commonly used currency pair. The most traded, dominant, and strongest currency is the what? The US dollar. In fact, with the history of money, gold, and then forex, we looked at USD briefly, the history of that. So I think we are in episode 3. Yes, I think episode 2 rather. You can check that. So we talked about USD, the US dollar, and I think it's the dominant currency so far. So that's what most of the traders trade, right? So most of the pairs that they trade has a USD as what a pair. Yes, as a currency in that pair. So that is what we are talking about. Now, the US dollar is the preferred rate or reference currency in most of the currency exchange transactions in the world, right? Now, below are some of the most traded or high quality currency pairs, high liquidity currency pairs in the global forex market, right? These currencies are part of most of the foreign currency, whatever. Now, however, this is not necessarily the best currency to trade for every trader. It doesn't mean that USC pairs are the best or the only pair that you can trade or the only pair that you can actually profit from. The other pairs, right? But we are looking at the fact that it's the dominant currency in the pair, right? And that is what most of them trade because it has what higher volatility and then it's good to trade, right? So that is it. Now, as prices of these major currencies keep changing, and so do the values of the currency pairs, what they also change. Now, this leads to a change in trade volumes, right, between two currencies. These pairs also represent countries that have financial power and are traded heavily worldwide, right? The trading of these currencies makes them volatile during the day, and then the spread tends to be lower, right? Now, the USD, whatever, the pair. Now, the USD currency pair is considered to be the most popular currency pair and has the lowest spread among modern world forex brokers. So now that is one trick or one eye-opening thing that you need to know. Among all the 8 major currency pairs that we are going to look at, right? The most traded one is what? The Euro USD, right? Is the most traded currency. So you see, you see that we are even tailoring things down for you to make it convenient for you, easy for you. We said we have about 8 of them, and then now we are looking at, I think, even among the 8, some are most traded, high volume, high liquidity, right? Volatility. So we are looking at that. So with Euro USD, that is what the most traded pairs among the 8, right? So if you remember, I told you that with me, right? I only trade the two of them, and then I have what Euro USD as part of my currency, my pairs, right? So I have the Euro USD and I have the pounds USD, and then I have gold alongside, right? So that is it. It's the most traded one in the world. Now, this is also the most traded currency pair in the world. About one third of all the trade in the market is done in this currency. You can just imagine. Now, another important point is that this forex pair is not too volatile. Therefore, if you do not have that much risk appetite, you can consider this currency to trade. Now, below is a list of currencies by their symbol, country where they are used, currency name, and then I think some have their nickname, right? So let's look at them. If I don't take care, then this video will be lengthy. So I'm going to cut it with chase, right? Now, these are the major currencies that we were talking about, right? The major currencies. And then the currencies are what? They have symbols, right? The US dollar is USD. The Eurozone is what? The Euro, EUR. The Japanese yen is the JPY, right? The great the pound, right, is what? A GBP. We have the what? The Swiss franc, right? The CHF. We have the Canadian dollar, the CAD, and then we have the AUD, that's the Australian dollar, right? And we have the NZD, that's the New Zealand dollar. So these are the what? The major currencies. Pay attention. These are the major currencies. I'm not saying major currency pairs. The pair comes with what? Two different currencies being pegged together, right? So don't get confused. I know you're amateur. If I don't take care, the things will be messed up in your head. So we have major currencies, right? The major currencies are individual currencies. They are not in what? In conjunction with any other currency. But when we talk about the major currency what pairs or currency pairs, those it means that two different currencies being combined to form one. Right. Then there's a standard of doing that, the joining. We call it the pegging, right? There's a standard for doing that. That is not the scope of what? That's not the scope of this video series, right? So that is, so all these things, these currencies have countries that use them, right? Or the countries that use them, or the countries that are traditionally was traded. That is it. So, and then we have the what? The currency actually. So the dollar has this symbol, right? The euro has this symbol. The yen has this symbol. The pound has this symbol. The franc has this symbol. The Canadian dollar has this symbol. The Australian dollar also is also a dollar, right? So the New Zealand dollar is also what? A dollar. So that these are the major currencies. So we look at them in what? The major currency pairs, right? And the major currency pairs usually mean that any pair that includes any of these three, any of these pairs, you look at them. I don't want to be ahead of that. So now, most of the currency pairs have specific names. The currency pairs have specific names. We get to know them maybe as soon as possible there. So the dollar is just the currency is what greenback, right? Greenback. It just in fact, the dollar has many names. The dollar actually has many names, that nicknames that you can call them. You can call it. Now we have the oil, right? It's what? The black gold. You rarely hear these names. You normally go ahead by mentioning their name like USA oil, whatever, right? But for the dollar has, in fact, I know you know a lot of them. The greenback, we have the oil, the black what? Gold, right? Now, this is actually what the major currency pairs that you can see, you can have, right? The major currency pairs is also about 78 of them, right? That's about 78 of them. You have the pounds USD, right? You have the euro USD. You have the USD, the Swiss franc. You have the USD dollar. Yes, the USD Canadian, that is it. You have the Aussie, the Australian dollar against the USD dollar. We have the New Zealand dollar against the USA dollar. We have the pounds against the Japanese yen. We have the euro against what? The pound. So there are about 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. Now we have the countries. So the flags indicates the country that use that currency in that pair. So we have what? The pounds, that is it. The Great Britain, what that is it, and then the USA. So you can look at them. They are simple. And then they are nicknames, right? Like I said, the pounds USD is what? Called the cable. I call it the cable. And then the USD, Euro USD is called the fiber, right? The USD against the Swiss franc is Swiss. We have this, in fact, the Loni, the Aussie or Oz, the Kiwi, right? The Guppy, and then the channel or the channel, right? So this is it. So for me, because I trade these two, I have them off head, right? I know some of them too, but I don't usually trade them, so I don't usually talk about them, right? But because for the purposes of your colleagues, when you meet and then they mention it so that you are not you don't find yourself wanting. Sometimes it's good that you have them at the back of your hand of that sort. It's not really important. That's not what is going to give you money, right? So that is it. So this is what the major currency pairs. That's the list. This is it, right? So if you realize that, if you realize all these pairs are what have the combination of, in fact, that is it. I don't want to talk too much. Now, so majorly or typically there are different types of what currency pairs, right? There are 3 categories of what currency pairs. We have the majors. So the majors, that's what we just looked at.